Sorry, sir. Carry on, sir. I just.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry from my side. I'm using a Mac. That's the problem. Okay, sir. So can I have the second slide, sir? Sure. So, so that's what. So that is the reason why we had this law which got legislated in the year 2000. And when I compare this law with other laws which I used to teach, which I used to share with many people, this is one uniqueness is there in this law because it's a techno-legal subject. All the other laws may be purely legal and having some interdisciplinary aspect, but this is interdisciplinary with technology. So it's a techno-legal subject like patent law. So we study some, we need to know about technology also. But I'm not a technologist. Like Madam was speaking previously, she was going into the technological aspects. I'm not a technologist, I'm a lawyer. But at the same time, I have to converge with technology to a limited level. So, one major issue which came up when this law came was what is the meaning of cybercrime? Because so many crimes were happening with the help of technology. Whether all crimes which are happening with the help of technology, whether it will amount to cybercrime, answer is no. Only crimes which are having computer as a technology. Again, you have to understand the definition of computer from the perspective of the IT Act, which is giving emphasis for an algorithmic background, which needs to run in a technology for it to be qualified as a computer. Then only we can call it as a computer. When I started to teach the subject sometime 10 years, 10, 12 years before, I used to get calls from the Tamil Nadu Police Department and many other investigating agencies asking, sir, a crime has happened through a calculator. A crime has happened through a mobile phone, not a smartphone, the earlier. So I had to analyze and give some answers whether it's a cyber crime or not. And in fact, CCTV, whether it's a cyber crime happening with the help of CCTV, with the aid of CCTV. So all these questions had to be answered to understand whether a concept is cyber crime or not. So we could answer. As I told you, because this was very fastly legislated in the year 2000, this law did not take care of cybercrime completely. It was incomplete, and many criticism was there. It only gave importance to few sections which were which are there in this particular Information Technology Act. Okay, so that is why we needed an amendment, and 2008 subsequently there was a super good amendment again with some constraints and restraints. But at the same time, we have to appreciate the amendment which has come in the year 2008. In the subsequent slides, I'll be talking about that. Okay, so one more important thing in introduction itself, I would like to tell you all is that when you are thinking whether IT Act 2000 is alone enough for prosecuting cybercrime, answer is no. As I said, it is still incomplete. So since it is incomplete, some crimes which may have the overall dimension as a cybercrime, you'll have to use the Indian Penal Code for prosecuting. So I will show you some comparative slides and also some other laws. I'll also tell you in future what are the other legislations which will be used to prosecute a cybercrime. So cybercrime cannot be prosecuted only with Information Technology Act. Okay. So this is a small code. One of the hot areas right now is tracking down cybercrime and cyber terrorism. In fact, this is true, especially after this pandemic which has come. Everyone are using technology. Children are using LKG, UKG students. Children are using technology to everyone. So obviously, this is very, very true, and this is happening. Crime is happening everywhere. Next slide, sir. Can I have the next slide? Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. So major area, most important areas in cyber law is one, jurisdiction, then types of cyber crimes, IPR issues, e-contracts, digital signature, e-banking, e-taxation, e-governance. So firstly, when we look at next slide, sir. So when you have seen the earlier slide itself, you understood that it is not only a cyber crime which is dealt with the Information Technology Act, even other areas are there. You have banking. So today, wherever, see, in my introduction, sir told me I was the project director of a chair which was instituted in our university by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. So there also I had to do a lot of programs on digital side because today when we talk about e-commerce, we are mainly talking about e-commerce. Today, after today's lecture, I am going to purchase something from Amazon. So this is where we are every part. E-commerce has become part and parcel of our life. So even in a consumer perspective today, electronic consumers are more than the normal consumers. So everywhere there's an impact. Taxation also slowly e-taxation is coming up, and it is having a lot of impact with regard to these issues. So next, so can I see the previous slide, sir? That is now.
Okay. Is it the one you're talking, sir?
No, I'm not. It's not visible for me.
Oh.
Can I all see the slide? Yeah. The fifth slide.
Yeah. Is it the one, sir?
Next one. So we talk about privacy, very important issue. Now everyone is talking about privacy. See, many of you, though you might not be lawyers, you know about constitutional law generally. Maybe somewhere some would have read about some basics of constitutional law. So there is one very important article in the Constitution called Article 21, which talks about right to life. Everywhere, in many cases, the Supreme Court of India and various high courts are using this article for various case laws. So, privacy is part of right to life. There is no direct article, but privacy is considered to be right to life in the sense that if there is no privacy, there is no reason for living. That's what the Supreme Court has told in many cases, including the recent Justice Puttasamy case, where a judge, the right to privacy is a fundamental right. The 11th bench judgment gave a decision that right to privacy is a fundamental right. So privacy is a very important issue. So we have to also analyze what are the privacy protection. Even Nirmala Madam was talking about privacy issues in Facebook and WhatsApp and all that. So law is also taking care by protecting privacy in the sense that if anyone is infringing privacy, punishments have been prescribed by the Information Technology Act. But if you really ask me whether there is privacy in cyber law, technologically speaking, there is no. Because even though Facebook, WhatsApp is giving a lot of protection, there is also a team of people who are working to break the protection. I think all of you will agree to that. So, what is today's protection may not be tomorrow's protection. Tomorrow, there might be a overriding technology will say, well, this is no use today because it has come with a new frame. As a cyber criminal have come with a new frame. So that is what technology and anti-technology, software and anti-software, privacy and anti-spyware, spyware and anti-spyware. Parallelly, both are working together. So privacy issues is a very core issue. I will discuss about it. Evidencing issue. So once a case, many cybercrime victims are there, but not very many cybercrime convicts are there. So what is the difference between victim is a person who is getting affected, as you all know. Convict means after the trial, people are getting going to the imprisonment for committing a cybercrime. So the basic logic is that when you have many victims, you should also have many convicts, but our proportion is not same. Reason is because today prosecution is not succeeding in cases mainly because of evidence issues. Very delicate. It's very delicate to produce evidences in the court of law, and judges are not appreciating it. Prosecutors are finding it difficult to produce the same and also present the same, and also police officials are having their own constraint. So enforcement that automatically leads to the next aspect. You do not have proper enforcement in cyberspace in India and in many countries. I have also been in US for some time where we discussed about cybercrime enforcement with FBI officials and even various cybercrime prosecution office in America. They also have told the same thing. We have issues, but it is comparatively better than India because they have gone to the level of using more high-end technology, and the law is easy to change that when compared. The flexibility of change of law is easy in order to make evidencing more admissible. That is what is actually happening. Disputes resolving is becoming more complicated because we do not have courts working as fast like technology. Technologies work faster, courts work slower. Adjournments, late judgments. Someone said, if you file a case now, your grandson will get the judgment. That's a old saying which goes. So in the same way, that will not be consistent with regard to cybercrime. Next slide, sir. So this is a small statistics which you all know, which you'll all agree. There are a lot of the research which has taken place. So they say that every second, as I'm talking now to you all, every second there are 14 victims, and this is a 2-year-old research. So present day research will be 5 times or 6 times more than that. That means so many victims are there, and in fact, I was a victim in many aspects. I'll share that in my lecture. Like that, you would have become a victim, which you may not like to share. I may like to share, but you may not like to share sometimes. So we are all, and sometimes you may not have been aware that you are a victim. Even I might not have been aware in certain aspects that I have been a victim. These are all things which are making it very complicated. As a result of that, today the hottest topic is cybersecurity, which many of you are discussing for some time, and also the for lawyers like us, the one of the most upcoming subject is cyber law. Next slide, sir. So many words are there: cyber crime, e-crime, technology crime. Like that, many crimes are there, but that does not have any botheration for us. But what is required is it should be used as a tool or a target of a crime. So you have to target technology, or you should use technology. That is cyber. When I say technology here, I mean cyber technology. You have to use cyber technology, or you have to target a technology for in order to constitute it as a crime according to the Information Technology Act. Otherwise, it will become a normal crime. It will become a traditional crime. For example, if I am going to murder a person in a normal way, it is a traditional crime. When I use certain computers to murder, that's a very famous cyber murder case where a person was analyzing how to murder a person, and he came to know that his target is a patient using an e-doctor service, electronic doctor service. So immediately, what he did is he hacked the system, intercepted his communication with the hospital using e-doctor service. And when the doctor gave him prescription through email, he intercepted the email, changed that prescription as a poison, and ultimately killed this person. So this case was registered as a cyber murder case. But you in the IT Act you won't find the word cyber murder. But it was considered as a cyber murder because the information technology was used. So some sections of information technology was used along with 302 IPC, which is very common, which is very famous, which is very popular among all of you. Next slide, sir. So overall, you look at it, most of the categorization of cybercrime, it will be either against an individual or its property. So a person or property of an individual, or it can be government or private companies, that means organizations, or it can be the society at large. Now, I think many of you will know many types of cybercrime because in the newspaper it is coming. A lot of people would have discussed a lot, and wherever I also speak, they say, "Sir, we know many types of cybercrime." But when I'm giving you a small, example here. When you take any cybercrime, it should either be against an individual, or against an organization, or against a society. For example, we talk about online sedition. Sedition, many of you know, it's against the country. When you're trying to create hatred and violence through WhatsApp, through Facebook, we call it as online sedition. And police can arrest you under Indian Penal Code and some sections of Information Technology Act, and create, imprison you for the crime which you have committed called sedition, especially it's specifically called as online sedition. But please understand that that online sedition it's a crime which you have committed against the society. The third category, what is given in the slide. Sometimes you might commit some kind of business data diddling or some kind of a business related fraud that is against organization. Sometimes you may create hacking against an individual, or you may create spoofing against an individual. So if you put the test, you'll get whether it's against an individual or whether it's against an organization or whether it is against the society at large. Next slide. So most of these things you know, but the most common cyber crime is cyber stalking, because I deal I train the police academy in cyber crime. So in the police academy, many police officials are dealing with this. We do a lot of training programs for them. So with I deal only the law part, not the technology part. So when we talk about cyber stalking, they say, the police officials say, sir, most of the complaints which are coming in, either it's hacking or cyber stalking. And most of the victims which come to police cases are related to women. So mostly college girls, they go and complain. Working women go and complain. They all say, sir, we are stalked. So what is the stalking? Continuously following and harassing people. When you do it through computer medium, it's called cyber stalking, which many of you know. And you have provisions in the IPC, which I'll show you later on, which deals with cyberstalking. Hacking, you all know. Cracking, also many of you will know. Transmission of obscene material. This is a very important issue. A lot of people ask me, sir, whether uploading pornography is a crime, whether downloading is a crime. In fact, you analyze our Information Technology Act, uploading cyber pornography or obscene material is surely a crime. Uploading is surely a crime. Downloading will be a crime only if you are going to display it in public places and try to use it for multiple displays. If you are going to personally see it, view it, then downloading does not become a crime. So that is the difference between uploading cybercrime, obscene material as a cybercrime. Downloading does not become a cybercrime. So you have to understand it there. But many politicians, many women activists try to change this and say that even downloading should become a crime. But at the same time, the government was hesitant. In fact, there was a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court, where the Attorney General told the Supreme Court that, Lordship, it is not possible to technologically possible to have a database of all the websites which are having pornography content. So, and there can be innocent downloading. See, once I was showing some legal database to a student, and all of a sudden there was a pop-in of pornography content. So some previous person who used the computer in a lab, in our university's lab, did use some pornographic views. As a result of that, this started to pop in. Then I had to shut down my system, shut down that particular system, call the system administrator and clean it up, and then only start using it. So there I was an innocent downloader. So that's where you have to understand about this pornographic content very carefully. But 2008 amendment came where they said child pornography, even downloading is a crime. They have given a more strict interpretation according to the law by bringing child pornography, even downloading is a crime. So innocent downloading will not be accepted there unless and otherwise you prove your innocence in a general traditional criminal jurisprudence and get some courts leniency in getting acquittal in that particular case. Otherwise, downloading child pornography is always difficult, always a crime. So you have to be very careful. By even innocence will be targeted. So spoofing, many of you know what is the meaning of spoofing. You are trying to change your source identity. So today, yesterday also there was a case in Chennai, a simple case. Nothing has happened very badly, but at the same time, cybercrime as police officials have registered this case. What has happened is in a Kendra Vidyalaya school in Chennai, ninth standard students were having online classes. Suddenly, one person came inside the class online. Somehow, you would have got the user ID, the Google Meets the user thing, and he came inside and started to tell so much of bad words. The teacher and the ninth standard students had to listen to this, unfortunately. So they took up this case, filed a criminal case. This was transferred to cyber criminal, this one, and they are investigating, trying to find who has given it. This may be a easy case. Yesterday only this happened. It may be the day before yesterday it happened. It may be an easy case to find out because the user ID would have gone through one of the students through someone. So they may find it shortly or some way they'll find it. So that is where a lot of people are trying to spoof as students, spoof as showing their, trying to impersonate in the online scenario and trying to do a lot of things. In business, commerce and trade, and also a lot of spoofing is taking for tender purpose, etc., e-tenders and all that. A lot of cases are coming up in spoofing also. So next slide, sir. So today, against when I said you can divide it under three categories. When you look at against individual properties, vandalism, you are trying to vandalize the system, the network, etc. You are transmitting virus. So transmission of virus plays a vital role. I always, since I teach contract law, also I tell my students, do you have an email ID? When they say yes, I tell them that means you have become a party to an e-contract. Other side may be Google or Yahoo. Then only they realize they are a party to an e-contract. Then I tell them, have you read the terms and conditions? Because you have clicked the I accept button template. They say, yes, sir, we have gone through the terms and conditions partly, but they have not gone thoroughly. So then I tell them, go thoroughly and tell me what liability you have accepted. So most of them have accepted serious liabilities, even criminal liability, because they have agreed that through their source, if any virus is transmitted, they will pay huge compensation to service providers and email service providers, and also they are also liable for criminal prosecution. So this is where I'm trying to tell you that you have to be careful. Net trespass, like trespassing in internet sources, unauthorized control over computers. It's also become a crime under IT Act. So you cannot control others' computers, and obviously hacking and cracking. These are all basic things which are on a broader perspective. So many new crimes are there, but on a broader perspective, these are all against individual property. Next slide, sir. When you are against government, lot of cases are coming up, especially with regard to hacking of government websites. Like there is a very famous case which we study in cyber law against Baba Atomic Research Center. See, BARC is a very protected area, and high sensitive informations are available in that servers. But you won't believe that one night, one teenager hacked BARC website, and he was able to take all the email IDs, not only the user ID of all the employees, and also their password. And next day, and immediately he hacked the BRC's official website and posted this there. So this is what your security system is. Here are your email ID of your official email ID of your employees. Here their passwords, and he's hacked this website and posted that. So that became a very popular case study for many of us to say that anyone, anything, anywhere can be hacked. Hacking is becoming so much. Hacking has become a fashion. It has become a crime. It has become very common in various places, and many people are learning hacking. I'm not talking about ethical hacking. Many people are learning hacking to become a cyber criminal using Tor browsers, using various other sites. See, not only I gave you an example of DARC, but you also do have some examples of Pakistan government's website being hacked, many government of India's websites being hacked, NASA's website was hacked, Russian websites were hacked, so government websites were hacked. You have a lot of examples of government sites hacked. So one of the question which just popped up is it good to learn hacking? It is good to learn hacking, but it is always good to keep sure that you are not using it for illegal purpose. So you should know your limits, and when you are going to hack for ethical reasons, you get the permission of others, the person, by saying that I'm doing it only for some uh, some reasons. See, for example, I was watching a program some years before where where the information technology minister and the one hacker was there in the program. So immediately he said, I can hack within 14 seconds. The IT minister said, within 15 seconds I'll get you arrested. Then he said, sir, with your permission, if I hack, then it's ethical. So this is just to see the vulnerability of the technology I'm doing. So then he said, okay, then fine, you do it, show it. So we will close the loopholes of where these problems are at. And as he said, within 14 seconds, he acted on in the show. So this is what is possible. Hacking is now possible by people who are very talented, who do this hacking. A lot of people do cyber extortion. The normal criminal case of extortion, they do it online scenario, get lot of money, and then they are trying to make a lot of money out of it. Cyber terrorism. See, many people think terrorism cannot happen through online scenario. One defense research analyst said, if at all there is a third world war, it will not be a nuclear world war like what many people think. It will be a warfare. Some people said it will be a bio warfare. But now those people who said it's a bio warfare also says most probably it will be a cyber warfare. So the most vulnerable area is cyber technological system, because hacking can be used. As I told, when I went to US and had a lot of discussion with a lot of government and quasi-government and private officials, one thing which they all said about the World Trade Center attack, WTC attack, you all know the whole World Trade Center was pulled down. We were discussing why American intelligence failed, and they were telling that the reason they were telling that the reason for American intelligence to fail was because Al Qaeda, which was behind that World Trade Center attack, used steganography as a cyber crime to send information to their people who committed that crime. Now, if you recollect, so many years have gone, but if all of you recollect, you will understand that within few seconds, 2, 3 airplanes crashed at the same time, and also one happened in Pentagon, which is the U.S. Defense headquarters. This happened. How did they coordinate everything so beautifully without any information going? How did the criminals coordinate? What was the success behind that? When you try to analyze, answer is they were using steganography. So what is steganography? Sending files, I think you people, all of you might know technography, sending files, video files, and behind that there is some message. And what what type of technography was used in this American issue was pornography. So they used pornographic content to use technography, and American intelligence never thought that they have to watch pornographic content to because those days that technology of image analyzer was not there. Nowadays you have good technology that you need not watch any content. Without watching a content, you can call out any steganography content is there within the hidden files, or there within hidden information is there within the image. Experts would tell you how you can do that, but that technology was not available those days, and that was the reason why many information was passed. If you read that case in detail, WT, the World Trade Center attack, you can understand the use of steganography by Al Qaeda, etc. So, computer viruses have also gone to an extent of closing down software companies, closing down banks for banking industry itself for some time, closing down private banks, private insurance companies. These are all happen throughout the world. So you have to be very careful. Government also, once banking industry is closed, it's against the government, because the whole economy comes to a standstill. So you have to be very careful. So this is also one of the great threat against the government. Next, sir. Next slide. So against organizations, again hacking and cracking comes because that's common to all. And terrorism, these are all common things which happens to individuals, can also happen to organizations. And pirated software is also a very major problem against organizations. See, I have been to Los Angeles, where I had a lot of interaction with music industry and also film industry, and that's the reason why I did my PhD in that area, digital infringement of music and film industry. There, when I went to Los Angeles and when I spoke to these people, there is a Motion Pictures Association of America, Recording Industry Association of America, and also with lawyers dealing with their cases, and also with these industries, film industries. I have when I went to Universal Studio, What I came to know is that the entertainment industry is not that what we know, what we listen here. It's something very huge. The revenue is huge, and the majority of the economy of major parts of the world are being contributed through the entertainment industry. And that entertainment industry is using information technology to have a widespread, but at the same time, they are facing a big widespread threat through information technology because of piracy. So it's easy to send a lot of pirated works. A lot of technology have come, but digital rights management has grown up, where you can use a lot of technology to anti-circumvention measures, which has been even recognized by the Indian Copyright Act. All these things you can use to protect by making sure that this particular video cannot be seen, this particular video cannot be copied. But people are using other technologies to break them. So circumvention and anti-circumvention. So technological protection measures is what we talk in law, TPM. But anti-technological protection measures are coming for cyber criminals. So it's all vice versa which is happening. So you have to be very careful. Next slide, sir. So many other crimes are there. People bomb your logic by way you are not able to operate. Spamming is also a crime because when you get too much of mails, you will miss unwanted mails. So unnecessary traffic is also created through. So spamming is also becoming a cyber crime. As I told you, virus, worms, trojans, they are all similar but slightly different alone. So these things are also creating a very major thing. Phishing is something which is very common and which has affected our finance industry, financial sector. So all banks have become victims of phishing. What is phishing? Phishing for information. So many banks, recently I know two, three banks, in the recent days, they were victims of phishing. So many people are sending emails saying that I'm from your bank. We have lost our data. So why don't you give your data back, like giving your user ID and password? Within minutes, we will retain your e-banking account and all that. And many people are giving that. And unfortunately, because of that reason, what is happening? A lot of crimes are happening, and the major issue is with regard to jurisdiction. Most of the cyber criminals crimes are happening in countries like Nigeria. It is happening in various other places. That is why we call one particular cyber crime is called as Nigerian email fraud. Through emails, people say all this, and then you send emails. Automatically, phishing takes place, and the criminal who has committed the crime is in some Africa country where cyber law is not respected at all. So Indian enforcement authorities cannot go there because they don't have extradition treaty which allows one country's official to go to another country to arrest, and they also do not have a particular cybercrime enforcement authority in that country. So because of this borderless issue in cyberspace, we are facing a lot of problem. Lot of phishing is taking place. Now, what the RBI has done, Reserve Bank of India has given all the banks to all the Reserve Bank of India has told all the banks to have a phishing policy which they have to put whether they like it or not in their home page, and also to have a watch service, continuously watch whether any phishing complaints are coming, and if it comes, the phishing is taken to the phishing complaint has to be spread through all the customers so that they don't become victims. So phishing is very common. You have to be very careful with phishing. Wishing. Wishing is also something. This is why because telebanking itself has not become very popular because people can use other people's voice and they can speak like them. So today you have a lot of morphing and wishing which is happening. Emails are being abused through spoofing. High level of trafficking is committed in email, and these were very common earlier days. Nowadays, because of the bandwidth, this is not very popular cybercrime. Otherwise, email bombing was also a popular cybercrime in the older days. And key bloggers. See, earlier when I when I was using when I was using when I was teaching cyber law 10 years before, we were talking about cyber shouldering. That is one person looking above the shoulder what password is typing. But now today you have key blogging software which will give you a fingerprint exact what you have typed. The details will come. So if I want to know what another person has typed in their laptop, I should have installed the key blocking software connected to me. So when they go online, I get what and all details, including the user ID, password, everything. I get it as a scan sheet. So this is where key blocking softwares play a vital role. So spyware should also understand where that there is a key blocking software which has been installed. Okay. So next slide, sir. Yeah. So IT Act 2000 had a lot of challenges because that's why we were talking so much time about so many types of cybercrime. So these were the background challenges in which IT Act 2000 was enacted. But did they do justice? No, because they were enacted very fastly. They did not have much sections given to IT Act. So here I'd like to tell you that when IT Act was enacted, since it copied from the source law, which as I told you, UNCITRAL model on e-commerce, most of the provisions of the IT Act is commerce based. But you don't find even one word commerce in IT Act. But what did I say? Most of the words are commerce based. I gave an assignment to a student. I'm a professor. So I gave an assignment to a student. Write about the commerce perspective of IT Act 2000. This student comes back and says, sir, there is not even one word commerce. Then how can I write an assignment on that? I said, did you go through the IT Act? No, he said, sir, I opened my laptop, downloaded IT Act, put a control F search and typed the word commerce, and my laptop gave me an answer, no word found, no result found. So see how students are nowadays working. I'm just giving you an example. So then I told him that's not the way you have to do. You have to read IT Act. When you read IT Act, one major portion of IT Act is talking about digital signature. Again, that boy asked me, then what is signature connected with commerce? I said, wait, signature is related to consent. Consent is for contract. Contract is for commerce. I hope you get the flowchart. Signature is mainly for consent. Because see, tomorrow if you want to take leave in your office, you have to go to your boss and get his consent. Earlier days, we used to give a letter. The boss will warn us by saying that don't take leave like this, but anyhow, he will sanction. Being a good employee, he will sanction for you. But he'll put a signature in that leave letter and show. Nowadays, we have email and we are getting email approvals or mobile WhatsApp approvals, whatever it is. So that signature, which has been put, is mainly to portray the consent. And so the consent is a very important factor for a contract. Two parties are entering into an agreement. And contracts are done for on an overall basis when it's consolidated. So this is what I connected, and I say IT Act is more commerce based because it copied a lot of provisions from UNCITRAL on e-commerce. So digital signatures, it has major lot of provisions of IT Act is for digital signatures, which is talk. I think many of you might have technological background, so you know what is the digital signature. It is where there is central government is appointing a person called the controller of certifying authority, and this controller of certifying authority is appointing certifying authorities. In fact, we can also become a certifying authorities provided we satisfy the rules under the IT Act rules for application of certifying authority. If we become a certifying authority, what we have to do? We have to certify people who are having digital signature, who are applying for digital signature by verifying their credentials so that it's very clear. So and so is the signature holder. That is what IT Act. And if there's any dispute, you can complain to the controller of certifying authority. And the controller of certifying authority gives a decision. If you're not happy with the decision, you can go on an appeal to the adjudicating authority under the IT Act. And if you're not happy with the adjudicating authority, you can go to CRAP, Cyber Regulation Appellate Tribunal. So next slide, sir. So after this digital signature only, you can go, it talks about cybercrime. So if you look at the main objectives, I'm not writing everything. If you look at the main objectives of IT Act, it is mainly to give legal framework for electronic records, to give legal recognitions for transactions, and for even for electronic filing of documents online. Sorry, there's a spelling mistake. Documents online also with the government agencies you can use all this. That is the main framework. So, okay. Now, before coming to the cybercrime provision, one more thing what I want to tell about IT Act is when this act came, also there were some amendments to other laws. Evidence Act was amended. Bankers Book of Evidence Act was amended. So many other legislations were amended when IT Act 2000 came in order to incorporate electronic provision there. For example, IPC was talking about data theft. So you need an amendment to bring in electronic data theft. Evidence Act was talking about evidences which were paper in nature, recordical in nature, documentary in nature. It did not talk about electronic document. Only when IT Act 2000 came, there was an understanding about an electronic document. And there only a concept of certification by an expert is needed for the court to accept that this document. And recently also Supreme Court has given a judgment. It's little legal in nature, so I'm not talking much in over legal in nature. But 3 weeks before, Supreme Court gave a judgment about electronic evidence. Why the text when the expert opinion is needed, when it is not needed, and how that evidence can be accepted. Everything has been dealt in that three-judge bench judgment given by the Supreme Court of India. You Google it, you get all the information. It is a very good judgment about the electronic evidence. You'll have a clear-cut understanding if you read the complete judgment, which goes to hundreds of pages. Okay. Now, all before I was talking about craft, cyberization, appellate rebellion. Many people have a misconception, misunderstanding that CRAT is the court which has to try cybercrime. Answer is no. As I told, it's a misunderstanding. CRAT is civil in nature and it can only take up cases, even if it is quasi-criminal in nature, cases from adjudicating authority and certifying authority under the ISEA. It cannot take the normal cybercrime cases, what we just now we discussed all the types of cyber. That can be handled only by normal traditional criminal courts, the magistrate court. Normal crime is handled. So, understanding that CRAT is for cybercrime, no. Cybercrime, it is for general, it's only for appeals from adjudicating authority under the IT Act and appeals from the controller of certifying authority under the IT Act. So you cannot go beyond that and give criminal jurisdiction to CRAT for all these types of cybercrime. Then, one more thing which I wanted to tell you is that very few provisions in 2000 and subsequently came in 2008 where more provisions were added. Now the slide which you are seeing is 2008 amendment where more provisions were added. I'm not showing the 2000 because it's amended. So there's no point in showing that. Even now there are many cyber crimes which are not being included in this amendment. Very important to understand. So it is penalty and compensation of imprisonment, penalty and compensation under section 43 of the IT Act for you are creating any damages or also creating any privacy provisions. Many private companies have this clause as a residuary clause where they are able to use for getting a lot of compensation. That is section. Many people, when you tamper with other people's computer documents, then section 65. I'm not telling you the section or going to explain the section in detail. So many sections, if I explain within half an hour, it will be an unnecessary explosion of legal information, which will not lead to any good thing. But you can always, IT Act is available in a Google search. You can always download it and you can see in your free time. But a chart for you. And these informations are there. But if you look at hacking is also a crime under section 66. Data alteration, data diddling, all that is covered under section 66. If you look at section 66A, I put an asterisk there just to tell you, highlighted that, just to tell you that is already repealed. So within a short while, there was a case, a very popular case in India. All of you who are interested in cyber law, please read this judgment also. The judgment is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. It is available in a Google search. The judgment copy will you get. The judgment was written by Justice Rohinton Nariman, a very good Supreme Court judge. who has very detailedly analyzed important provisions of IT Act and given a wide thing and struck down Section 66A. What happened in this case? Let me tell you shortly. Uh, one girl in Maharashtra was arrested by the government of Maharashtra for giving sensitive information to the government against a bandh which they organized. Section 66A empowers the government to arrest people who are giving offensive message against them. So immediately, this girl said, "What? I told bandhs are bad. Why should I be arrested?" And no one heard her. But this voice was heard somewhere in Delhi. There a girl called Shreya Singhal, a law student. She and an article of the Constitution before the Supreme Court of India directly filed a case. Sorry?
Sir, can you please check your mic, sir, once? There is some glitches in the voice.
Can you
Hello.
hear
Sorry
me?
to. Yeah. Now, please go ahead, sir. It is fine.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking about Shreya Singhal's case. So this Shreya Singhal filed a bill in the Supreme Court of India, Article 32, under Article 32, where she directly fought this case under fundamental rights by telling the Supreme Court that this section 66 says violating Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, freedom of speech and expression. Sir told me if you, that most of you are from the media. So I think all of you will know what is 19(1)A, freedom of speech and expression, which is the most bedrock, most important fundamental root law for media people to talk, to express freedom. And even in recent Arnab Goswami case also, Article 19(1)A was only mainly argued in the Supreme Court of India, which all of you know. So this is where the Supreme Court analyzed and said, yes, Section 66A is violating the powers which has been given under article fundamental rights which have been given under the constitution, and they Supreme Court of India struck down 66A. But I mentioned that just to show that it is there, it was there earlier. And even nowadays police department in many states were arresting people under 66A after Supreme Court striking down. And then now again Supreme Court had to give an order that all the DGPs to inform all the police officers that 66A cannot be used for prosecuting anyone. Okay, so a lot of issues are happening, like stealing computer device, and everything has been taken care. Most of the things have been taken care under this one. So impersonation, violation of privacy. So violation of privacy will have a civil remedy under 43, but here under section 66C you are getting a criminal remedy also. So you can, those who are violating your privacy, you can take them arrested. And Nirmala Madam was telling about how privacy can be violated through Facebook, WhatsApp, and how you can be secure. So when you have someone who has violated your privacy, if you file a case in the cybercrime cell, obviously they can take charge sheet them. If they find the criminal, they can charge sheet them under these sections. Cyber terrorism, as I told you earlier, was not there, but now they have included this in the amendment. Publishing of obscene information. So here they have used the word publishing. It means uploading. When you download, it won't amount to publishing. But at the same time, child pornography, all these sections are various sections. Even breaching of confidentiality or privacy under section 72. Likewise, if you look at section 70, unauthorized access to protected system. So what is protected system? Our system and my system may not be protected, but certain central state government and important places, they have to make sure that their systems are very delicate and sensitive to the national security, etc. So they will get the protected system certification, and then more stringent punishment is given if protected system is going to be hacked or it's going to be tampered, altered, diddled, etc. Okay. So even if you are publishing false digital signature certificate, section 74 can be used. Next slide, sir. So next. So as I told you, it's not only IT Act, but sometimes you have to use IPC also. So when you look at the police charge sheet, they will not only use IT Act, They will also try to bring in other laws, because the more you nail in the charge sheet, the more chances of prosecution winning the case is there. So they try to use. And in certain unfortunate scenario, IT Act is very silent. Online sale of drugs. You know about the dark browser, you know about the dark net, right? In many films now, they are explaining what is dark net to even to common people. So this dark net is a place where you can buy drugs, you can buy illegal arms, you can buy, so many things, illegal things. Child pornography is also there, pedophiles is there. So in this darknet, so many crimes are happening, and sometimes the police department cannot get certain provisions of IT Act because IT Act is silent. Then they can always use other law. For example, when drugs is there, they can use NDPS Act. Even if it is online, NDPS Act can be used. Like that, you can have a broader view. Simply don't say the law is silent because IT Act is silent. That is what I'm trying to tell you. So for that's defamatory message, you can use 499, 500 of IPC. That is important. So don't think cybercrime is bound or guarded within the parameters and boundaries of IT Act. It is more than that. That is the point I'm trying to make here. Next slide. So this IT Act amendment has come into force. The details I have given. Next slide, sir. So it has 124 sections. These are all general information. Next slide. So they've added all these important, including data protection, data. All these aspects have been given, and some certain terminology changes have been made, like digital signature has been replaced with electronic signature, and certain amendments have come. All that I have portrayed in the slides. Next slide, sir.
Yes.
So state is given lot of powers. Especially there are few sections which are very important, where especially for people like you all, you have been given in internet service providers. Many of the internet service providers, whenever they have been given direction, and if the directions are not complied, there are certain sections where police have been given power to arrest. That is where section 69 has come into play. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, so that all that is there. Okay. With this section, also the power to the state to block information is also given. See, there is one case whether the state can tap telephones, which came in 1970. Supreme Court said you can tap telephones only when national security is a threat under certain modalities. But the IT Act is more liberal than the given more power to block. In Jammu and Kashmir and many places do not. Yeah, it's easy to block information through internet, etc. Next, so jurisdiction is a major issue. We talk. Jurisdiction is
And some sorry to disturb you. Like again, there is some voice issue.
okay. Can you hear me now, sir?
Is this fine, sir?
Yeah. Okay, sir. So jurisdiction means power for the court and the government to hear and determine. So the court needs jurisdiction. Government needs jurisdiction. So reality. Indian law can be applicable in other countries also. What I'm trying to tell you is, I'm an Indian. Someone in America is going to hack my email. Whether Indian police officials on my complaint they arrest at America. Yes. India. My email in India has been hacked. Second question is, I am an Indian. I am going to in America when some Indian law is jurisdiction.
Sorry, sir. Like, can you please check your mic once, sir?
Oh, sorry. 1 second. Now, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. So, the multiple countries, that is why when we look at any legislation, wide is wide goes to many nations. All know Vijay Mallya's vote. Can you hear me now?
I think sometimes cracking, sir. Sometimes it is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fine, sir. Now we were able to.
So, okay. So this sources where people are seeing it very
Sir, still, no, we
so,
are not able to hear your voice, sir. Is there,
okay.
are you using this bandwidth, mobile bandwidth, sir, or broadband, sir?
Broadband only.
Okay, okay, okay. I think there is some issue. Like till now, it is fine. You are getting some glitches. Yeah, now you go ahead, sir. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to complete it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Please,
So,
please, please.
yeah. Yes. So what happened is in Lycra versus Yahoo, there was a case study where Yahoo's right to sell banned items. Yahoo's right to sell banned items was challenged. Why it was challenged? Because it it was selling banned items in France, and Yahoo is a US registered company. So someone, Lycra, an organization, filed a case in French court. French court even gave an arrest warrant to the CEO of Yahoo, but it was not respected because he said, "I am a U.S. citizen and my company is registered in America. Only the subsidiary of my company has to obey the orders. The headquarters in U.S. need not obey the orders." This is what he said. So that is these are the issues which clearly prove unless there is cooperation in international scenario, jurisdiction is becoming a major issue. Right. Next slide, sir. So not only these general issues, but you have data theft, which is happening in a widespread manner. Cloud computing issues are also coming up. What will happen if there is going to be cybercrime through cloud technology? Not properly addressed, clearly, directly addressed by the Information Technology Act. Online piracy is having a lot of technological issues, as I told you earlier. A lot of people are not, getting solutions through the law. Technological protection measures through technology is more effective than the law. That's what many people say because it leads to prevention. And once this piracy is happening, getting a order. Like nowadays, you are going for a John Dewey order or Ashok Kumar order, which ISP liability, ISP service providers are finding it very difficult to manage. Courts are simply saying, make sure this film is not going to be there in your ISP. All these ISPs are telling me when I'm taking training sessions for them, they're telling me, sir, high courts and supreme courts are giving orders like that, interim orders that within a day they are giving. But we are not able to comply with that order that easily because we have technological constraints in analyzing what has been, where our file is, this data file is, and because some of the files are there in different names and different aspects, in parts and parcels it is there. So obviously it's very difficult, they say. So these issues are there in online piracy also. And today you have many high-level technological crimes like you would have heard about deep fakes, deep news. So a lot of apps are coming, and these apps are helping cyber criminals. If you ask me, most of the apps are helping cyber criminals in different ways. So this is also a big challenge which the law has to take into account. Identity theft is also there because of morphing and deep fake apps which are coming up. Next slide, sir. Yeah, data mining. Be careful where you are giving your data because most of the people living around you are data miners. So they mine your data to get valuable information, extract valuable information, and they don't tell you that they are retaining your data for some reasons. So that's why I have mentioned there are some guidelines, organization for economic cooperation and development. what we in short form we call OECD guidelines. These guidelines talk about data mining, and they say that being a data subject, many of us are data subject. When we are giving our data to some organization, they become data controller. You should know what are the rights you have and what are the responsibilities and duties which the data controller has. So that has to come from play. We need a data privacy policy for every web portal, which is healthier for a good certification, which needs to be given. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Case study. What a ice cream company helped the government to get some data. Small government in some small country. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Now it is fine. Sir, not able voice. Please check the mic, sir, once.
Yeah. Now, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Yeah.
Yesterday you're talking about, sir.
So, a government, a small country, the military training. So they wanted data, but people were hesitant to go for military training. They were avoiding giving that data. So they signed a MOU with the ice company saying that all people who reach 15 years, if they register with ice cream company, that ice cream company will give 15 packs of ice cream, something like that. So ice cream company agreed. They gave this advertisement. And at a later point of time, what happened? The ice cream company got all the data and they transferred it to the government. Okay, so at age, at age, so I already
Sir, like we are not able to hear you.
Sir, the audio may be clear. Bandwidth issue.
Video is not there, sir, already. Sir, Ranjit, sir.
Yes.
No, 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 sir, no, sir, no, sir.
Once.
Please.
Now you can hear me, sir?
Yeah, now it is fine, sir. Super.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm just opening, sir.
those.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So that's what, sir. So, next slide. Next slide.
You know, the ice cream case study, can you brief, sir?
Yeah, okay. Ice cream case study is nothing but a small, very small, unofficial case study where a small country in the world, I don't remember the name, they signed an MOU with an ice cream company.
Okay.
And in that MOU, and this country actually wanted people who reach 18 years to have 2 years of military training. The people were hesitant and they were avoiding giving data. So this ice cream company was asked, why don't you give an advertisement that at the age of 15, if anyone registers, they will be given 15 packs of ice cream.
Okay.
And it was kind of a cheating the people. They believed the ice cream company. They gave their details, date of birth, certificates, etc. And 15th year, they were getting 15 packs of ice cream. But what actually happened is, this data was used by the government after 3 years. They knock the door exactly when you reach 18 to military. So what I'm trying to tell is, This is where government itself is doing data mining. So
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
yes, sir. So that's what telephone tapping, and like today GPS is also used for a lot of crimes, which you people will know better than me. So spywares, all these things are there. Next, creating privacy issues. Next slide, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, cybercrime investigations is also something. Law we teach about two types of law on a broader perspective. One is procedural law, and another one is substantive law. For example, I'll give you an example. IPC is a good example of Indian Penal Code is a very good example of substantive law. IPC talks about crimes and offences. It does not talk about who will investigate, who will arrest, what procedure has to be followed in the investigation, what procedure has to be followed in the trial. IPC is very silent about that. Indian who take these under IPC, IPC will have to parallelly look at the. Likewise, there are laws in our country which will have substantive part and procedure. Act is one of the law which is having the provisions related to procedure or related to procedure also. So that is why we call it as cyber conflict investigation, because the powers given to lot of powers compared to normal criminal offenses. Okay? So at the, for example, they can confiscate instead of seizure power. They have been given the power of confiscation. They can they have the power to search without a warrant, except in areas they need a warrant. Other in many warrant. Okay? But still, the police officials say that their powers are limited. But people say their powers are more. They need not immediately return things which are being taken for. So these are the major. Of popular contracts, and in issue cloud also there are a lot of contractual issues which are happening. Mailbox rule and hotmail case and all is given validity for contracts and revocation of offer and acceptance even in contracts. Next slide, sir. So as I told you today, a lot of IP-based crimes are coming, like trademark and copyright. Software is not criminalized in our patent software is not criminalized in our country, but trademark issues like cheating others, online trademark issues are happening. As I told you, copyright also a lot of privacy issues are happening. A lot of film piracy is taking place. Even books are today nowadays getting going everywhere. So you have many cases in trademark like the Yahoo versus Akash Arora's case, where a website was exactly copied like Yahoo. The template, everything was copied. So there only the court has given a very good judgment, Delhi High Court. Like that, various things are happening. Domain name disputes are coming. For example, there was a website called Dhoni.com. So immediately MS Dhoni, the cricket captain, had to file a domain name dispute issue. So there are a lot of international organizations like UDRP, ICANN, and OOD. We have ICANN and ICANN Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers. UDRP is the full form is Uniform Dispute Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy. They are all trying to help us to resolve disputes through arbitration, etc. ODR means online dispute resolution. Today, you don't have much scope, so you can go for online dispute. Next, next slide. Corporate issues also are there. It does not complete the legislation like DMR in America, and even amendments to Copyright Act in the year 2012, where they have brought digital piracy also as a piracy, and they have legally given treatment and acceptance for digital rights management. Okay, next slide, sir. ISP liability, as I said, is When they don't have knowledge, they are not liable. That's what is called doctrine of safe harbor. You are when you don't have knowledge. When you have knowledge, due diligence. Use your diligence, and you have to act. If you don't act, then you will be liable. That is why when you see a video on YouTube which is a copyright violation, immediately inform YouTube. Then only they get the knowledge. And still they don't act, YouTube will be liable. That is what it is. In Shreya Singhal, as I told you, that freedom of speech and expression case, there also ISP liability has been in that judgment also Supreme Court of India has analyzed ISP liability to a greater extent. Also, WhatsApp administrators are all nowadays in many problems. A lot of people are getting arrested for online session, and just for even for forwarding others' comments, WhatsApp administrators are in problem. So many people are, but they cannot say they are innocent because once the message comes to them, if that message is having some illegality, like if it is criminal in nature, if it is going to be defamatory in nature, if it is going to create violence or pornographic in content, immediately it is very important for the administrator to delete it, or else they can be penalized under the Information Technology Act. Next slide, sir. So here, very importantly, you have to understand there are two types of infringement: primary infringement and secondary infringement. Sometimes you may not be the person who's committing the crime, may be only helping the other person, like abetment, or giving a room. For example, YouTube will say we are not uploading the video; people are only uploading the video. So if they get the knowledge, they will become secondary infringers. In America, also this RIA case is a very important case, Recording Industry of Association of America case, where Napster websites like Napsters and all were stopped because they cannot say that they are not copying. Only the people are copying. They are only helping them to copy. They are only giving them a source, yes, that they cannot say because they will become secondary infringers. Next slide, sir. So next slide.
Yes.
No,
Yes, sir.
no, sir. The same slide only is coming.
Are you able to see the screen, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So these are, I just given you the list of banking and financial frauds. Most of them are very common and some of them have been discussed by us also. So today you have many people through KYC, they are getting a lot of illegal information. Likewise, a lot of money laundering is happening. And when money laundering is happening, the PMLA Act is there, other than the IT Act. And a lot of, ATM and credit card frauds are happening. Next slide, sir. These are just examples of skimming, which many of you know. So this is a skimmer where they are using all this. You would have come across. I don't know whether you have come across in other presentations, just where people can easily skim your credit card and debit card with the help of a skimmer, which is there, which they keep in some ATM. Next slide, sir. So I already told you about phishing. Next slide, sir. I just wanted to give you a small example of phishing.
This
So
we
like
have covered, sir, yesterday. No problem.
you had a phishing session, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Completely.
Okay, then you can skip that, sir. Yes, sir. Next slide, sir. Phishing also, just now I
Yes,
told you.
yes. Done, sir. Done.
You can skip that,
Yeah,
sir.
maybe this you can talk.
Yeah, SIM swap fraud is a recent fraud where people are using, trying to, make a duplicate of your SIM So in order to get your OTP, so within a minute they are swapping and they are getting your OTP with this technology called swim fraud. They are using phishing, all those technology and using it. Next slide, sir. Now, recently you would have come across locker room crimes, where many people are boys and girls are using locker room crimes, and a deep nude, where easily you can see many people in nude. When you have a photography, when you're using this new deep nude technology, you can see. I think you would also see gone through all these technologies which are creating a great constraint. So investigation constraints are there because new technology come. They don't have tools for forensics and investigation. So that is where a lot of contractual frauds are happening. And as I said, digital evidencing also becomes legally difficult. Next slide, sir. So next slide, sir. So against women also, I've just given you some. I wanted to show you certain examples. So a lot of revenge pornography and showing defamatory message. Everything law is taking care of so many sections. So I've just given you the list. You can share this PPT to all the participants, sir. No problem.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Next slide, sir. Because of time issue. So these are all, I just culled out certain voyeurism, cyberstalking, cyberbullying, grooming. Grooming is a concept where mainly many children are getting affected, where they are, so in online scenario, they are being shown as if they are being groomed, but they are using their presence for illegal purpose without their knowledge. So you have the new POSCO Act also, which is coming up and which is creating a lot of problems. Next slide, sir. So, in concluding, you need jurisdiction, as I told you. International cooperation is necessary. United Nations is working out. Then you need a better enforcement mechanism because many enforcement is not happening. Many people should be having awareness also. They should report so that better enforcement mechanisms can come. As I told you, many courts are there. So, whether the judges know about cybercrime technologically, whether the lawyers or prosecutors who are arguing no cybercrime, that is a very great challenge. Like how I'm talking to you all, sometimes we go to judicial academy and teach judges, but a Saturday or a Sunday just for 1 hour we teach, whether they will understand properly, whether technologists also come, like all many experts like you all also come and teach judges, but whether they can understand within a short span of time is a great question. And as I told you, when many laws are there, prosecutors are also finding it difficult to prosecute and win a prosecution properly. So it's always better to have separate cybercrime legislation. Maybe 10 years down the line, you may have a separate cybercrime act or something like that, which is going to come. So thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Questions, sir. Let me put up those questions to you.
सर चौहान जी कहना चाहते हैं लाइन पे सर.
Sir?
Yeah, what's the question, sir?
Ram, sir, can you spell it out?
Mr. NL Chauhan wanted to speak. NL.
Yeah, Ernal Chauhan. Okay. Yeah, Chauhan, sir, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. What is the difference between digital signature and electronic signature?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. See, basically, it's only a terminology difference which has come in the 2008 amendment. Digital signature is using private key publicly. Same electronic signature is also using private key publicly. But earlier, there was a difference where electronic signature was a signature without this cryptographic methodology. They used to have this electronic signature, our own signature in an electronic method. Subsequently, it has come same. It's all equating to a digital signature. And 2008 amendment make a terminological difference.
Right, sir. Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. And I think there are a few more questions I'll just put for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the name of the IT law? Its full form in the Indian legislation. Which year India Act came into the This I think you have already.
Yes, Information Technology Act 2000, sir. It came in the year 2000, after in 2008.
Okay, sir. People are asking, like, what are the topmost common cyber crimes?
As a cyberstalking is common, spoofing is common, hacking crimes are very common. All the ATM, debit card, credit card crimes are common. That is why today, and privacy issues are also becoming very common. Whereas
Okay.
cyber terrorism, cyber murder, and all is very rare.
Correct, sir. So there is a question in J&K, restricted people using the internet. Is it not a violation of Article 19A?
So this is a pending issue before the Supreme Court of India, where if you wait for some time, the Supreme Court of India will be giving a judgment on that.
Okay, excellent.
But academically, I personally feel that a balance has to be obtained between one's freedom of right to speak. But if government of India is saying that there is a national security issue also, so you need to attain a balance.
Okay. So there was one more question. Some years ago, an American who had came to Mumbai as a terrorist, his wireless router was hacked by others to conduct terrorist activities. In this case, how does IT Act address this issue?
So someone from foreigner came to Mumbai and committed hacking. Am I right?
Correct.
Yes, sir. If you look at our IT Act, Section 75, read with Section 2, it says when our computer system is affected, then obviously our IT Act has jurisdiction. So when he is coming and committing hacking in India, if he is affecting our system, our network, or our persons, Indian IT Act will have jurisdiction. Or else, if he is not affecting any of our system, network, or our person, the other country who is getting affected, they will have jurisdiction, and we can allow their enforcement authorities to arrest them in India. We can cooperate if the government wants.
Okay, so excellent. So we must open our skills in fields like cyber law, cyber security, AI, machine learning, and IT Act, etc. Yes, sir. You can follow those courses which are offered by various institutions, kind of thing. I think we can just take it up later. So this case is case of data mining. Ice cream case study, and so is this a case of data mining? I think you have already clarified, sir, on that. That's an issue. Okay. Yes, sir. I think this is one question which is very interesting. Please guide what initial and immediate steps to be taken if we fall prey to cybercrime.
Sir, as I told you, you have to immediately report the crime. Otherwise, the enforcement authority will lose evidence and will lose forensic opportunities. So, reporting is very important. And prevention, if you don't fall, prevention is the best cure. But once if you fall, become a victim, reporting is very important. For example, for financial crime and all, there is within 24 hours or 48 hours, if you report, even sometimes the bank will have more liability and you will have less liability, bank will indemnify you.
Okay, that's great. And one more thing, ma'am, like in continuation to the search thing, you also can report to the cybercrime.gov.in. But what I had in this regard is like people are taking time to look into the case and all the things. But as sir was mentioning, we should reach the nearest cybercrime police station. If there are no cybercrime police station near to you, at least you should visit the nearest police station where they may be able to guide you, like what to do, how can we file this case, kind of thing. Okay. So, but at this time, as sir was mentioning, like we have to keep all the evidences with regard to the crime which has happened, or which you want to report against that crime. Sir, is there a threat to the level of national security from the pornographic state, and in the 9/11 experience of the USA, will it not be advisable for our country to enforce strict internet censoring of some of the censoring of some from solving this issue? Okay, I think his question is, are we learned something from this 9/11 issue of USA with regard to the national security in a pornographic point of view?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
As I said, 9/11, they use steganography. So always pornography can lead to other crimes. So if you censor, it is good. But government of India, as I told you in a bill before Supreme Court, has said it is impossible to censor all the websites technologically. So it's not a legal issue; it's a technological issue.
That's true. In addition to that, sir, actually, you all might be knowing, the unfortunate thing in India is we are having more than 4,000 plus ISP providers in India.
Yes, sir.
We are having more than 5,000 plus ISPs in India, but in some of the developed countries they are having only some 4 to 5. But that is the reason, like at ISP level, there some of the websites like these pornographic websites and all those things were got pornographic sites were are blocked. But still, immediately once you block that website, immediately they're coming up with a new domain name.
Yes, sir.
So while finding that, like, they're coming up with more number of things. For example, recently the government of India has banned the TikTok app, but immediately they came with the TikTok Pro, and immediately they came up with something XYZ. So as sir was mentioning, we are having some technological solutions, but at the same time, like, most of the things are not addressed due to these issues. And sir was also domain level issues kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Sir, I think there was a question to Nirmala madam. Madam, we have a number of passwords for various accounts. Is there any protocol? Sir, I think yesterday we have shown a video. Yanal Chauhan sir. Yesterday we have shown a video on password. Okay, we are suggesting to have different passwords for different accounts and different aspects. So to address that issue, maybe you can face a sentence or a fast pace. See, for example, you are working in a All India Radio Jalandhar. You can use I work in a All India Radio Jalandhar. I instead of asterisk mark, A instead of at the rate, Jalandhar instead of capital J, or something like that. You can frame your own sentences, and that is only the thing, sir. But don't go for any password protection. Apps which are available where you can share and all such kind of things. I just tell you one example which has happened recently. The thing is, like, in one of the website, they have shown one website says, like, can you test, like, whether your password is strong or not? Okay.
Yeah.
And those people have many people, like the people who are attended to that particular session, all people are trying to test their password is strong or not. Okay, we are entering our true password. We don't know, like, whether the fellow is storing or not. If that person is storing, what can you do? These are some issues, like, where don't go such kind of things, like check the strength of your password, or check the whether your email ID is compromised or not. If it is compromised, what will you do? So to avoid all such kind of things, better to have a strong password. And if you are not able to remember those passwords, better to go for a fast pace kind of thing. For example, I love my boss, or I love shopping, or I to somewhere else. So that thing you can convert into the okay, small letters, capital letters, and some of the special characters, numerics, and all such kind of things.
Correct.
Anything else is there, sir? Chavan sir, I think you are.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. So other than that, nothing is there, sir. And don't okay, if at all, if you are storing your things on your laptop, desktop kind of thing, please protect that particular file. Please protect that particular file by giving a by giving a strong password, whether for your Excel sheet or Word document, whatever it is. If at all if you are storing, we strongly suggest not to store. Only store in your mind. But if at all if you are storing somewhere, please follow some strong password protection. Okay. And sir, one more question, sir. Have online platforms through which we can log cybercrime complaint? Yes, sir, I have already mentioned, sir, cybercrime gov.in. Can I cybercrime in police station? Sir, can we complain these cybercrimes in any police station, sir? Ranjit, sir.
Yes, yes. Actually, there is cybercrime cells in most of the countries, in every police station, every police department. So if you complain against, if you complained in a police station, they are supposed to send it to the cybercrime cell for investigation purpose. We cannot say that this complaint will not be taken up. And now Ministry of Home Affairs has given a portal. You can check in the Google, you'll find out that portal where you can give an online complaint and they will forward from Delhi to the concerned police
Yeah,
department. And they will
that's what
also
I
track.
told you, sir. Cybercrime.
Yes, yes. You can track it. They will track it, and also they will make sure that the cybercrime case is taken up and it's taken up properly in the proper direction. Okay. And one more thing is you have to understand that earlier 2000 amendment 2000 it was DSPs who can investigate. 2008 it is inspectors who can investigate. And now government of India wants to have at least one cybercrime police station completely for cybercrime where every district in India should have. They are coming with a project like that. I think shortly it will be successful.
Sir, I think here is one more question. Is it true that according to the Indian Cyber Law 2006, every single citizen has a right to promote, criticize any person, organization in the perspective of anything, even yes. Is it true, sir?
See, that is what you have to read the Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. So you have freedom of speech and expression. That's what Supreme Court said. But subject to defamation, there is a line of difference between criticism and defamation.
Okay.
Your statement can only should stop with criticism. Once it becomes defamation, action can be taken against you. So you should know what to talk, what not to talk, very carefully.
All right. I hope Anupam, madam, your question was addressed.
Sir, can I ask one question? RB
Yeah,
Ram?
please, sir.
I have only one question. We need copy of the PPT which has been described here and also related 15 to 20 numbers questions along with the answer.
Okay, fine. That I will discuss with you, sir. This presentation I will share it with you, sir, immediately, and the earlier presentation also I'll share
And
it.
also MCQ about 20 questions related to this subject.
Fine. We will check it, sir. We'll check it. Okay.
Okay.
And so we thank Dr. Ranjit, sir, for your wonderful and enlightening session. And it was really a wonderful session. Like I think most of the people got an idea like how do we act if something goes wrong, kind of thing. And thank you for your valuable time and for your valuable session, sir. And we also thank Nirmala for her wonderful session with regard to the social networking. So once again, we thank all the both the speakers for wonderful sessions, and we also thank all the officers who are patiently listening the entire session. And yes, sir. Ram sir, you wanted to say something about this session?
सर सेशन बहुत अच्छा रहा इंटरेक्टिव हुआ मुझे लगता है कि अबाउट 25 क्वेश्चन हैव बीन आंसर्ड इन दिस सेशन सो अच्छा रहा सर पीपीटी और क्वेश्चन आंसर हमें दे देंगे तो उससे काफी ज्ञानवर्धन होगा थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू सर
All right, sir. Thank you. So once again, thank you, Dr. Vijit Abraham, sir, for your wonderful session and enlightening us on this IT Act and various cybercrimes which are happening around.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Sorry
you.
for the technological glitches.
It's okay, sir. No issues. for your session. It came out